This is a reading for Brandy, and it's going to be just a general reading. For this reading, I'm using the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. And I've selected a spread called the Freudian Analysis Spread. This is an 8-card spread. So the first card here talks about the conscious mind, what weighs heavily on your mind. The second one here is the unconscious mind, so what wants to emerge. 3 is the superego, so what is my main focus and most urgent need. 4 is the ego, who do I think I am. 5 is the ID, what is the unnamed center of my wants, needs, and desires. 6 is sublimation, how do I redirect unfulfilled desires into something useful. 7 is pleasure principle, what feels good. And 8 is reality principle, and what must be done. So before I get started, I'd like to do a quick prayer. I call upon my angels and my guides to please be in contact with Brandy's angels and guides. May you provide a clear and accurate reading. I also call upon Archangel Michael to please surround us in white light so that you may protect this reading and only divine messages may come through. Okay, so the first card we had was for the conscious mind, what weighs heavily on your mind. And for this one, we actually got the Death card reverse. Now, normally the Death card would talk about the end of something, the beginning of something new. Because this is in the reverse situation, and this is what's weighing heavily onto your mind, it's resistance to change or unable to move on. So there's a situation going on right now that you're just not coming to terms with. Either something you're not agreeing on, or it requires a change and you're just uncomfortable with the change that would need to happen. Now, the second card we have is the unconscious mind and what wants to emerge. And on this one here, we have the 9 of Swords. Now, the 9 of Swords will talk about basically anxiety. So this is weighing heavy on your mind. You're worried about this. It might be causing lack of sleep, or this is what you think of when you go to bed. This is it's taking a bit of a toll. Now, because this is in the circumstances of unconscious mind, what I'm feeling is either you're not kind of fully aware of that yet, of the toll that it's actually taking, or that you're keeping it to yourself. You're kind of hiding it from the people around you. Now, the third card that we have here, and this one is the superego. So what is my main focus and most urgent need? And on this one here, we have the Ace of Wands reverse. Now, the Ace normally talks about a new beginning, and the Wand talks about action. Now, because this is in a reverse situation, it's kind of talking about delays, lack of motivation, being weighed down, or something like that. Now, because this is what is the main focus and most urgent need, and to kind of go with the first card, so the Death kind of talked about resistance to change. The Ace of Wands is talking about a delay. So what kind of is saying me, like, your main focus or most urgent need would be for things to just stay the same. Kind of leave it as it is. And that's kind of basically what you desire here. Now, the fourth card that we have, this one here is the ego. Who do you think you are? And for this one here, you've got the Page of Pentacles reverse. Now, every time I see a royal, like the page, the knight, the queen, or the king, a lot of times what this will do is it'll reflect to somebody's to a person. Now, it kind of queen doesn't mean it's a woman. A page, but the way I view it is page is kind of like a child or a childlike. Uh, Knight would be kind of an adolescent or adolescent like. And then when we have the queen, I see somebody with kind of more maturity. And then when we see the king, I see somebody who's kind of more wise. So this doesn't necessarily mean age. It doesn't really necessarily mean, but it could just be the way they're viewing something. Now, pentacles also normally reflects resources. Now, resources can be money, definitely, but it's not always money. It could be time resources, it could be education type resources. It's just kind of a resource that's, that we would have here. Now, because this is in a reverse position, normally I would kind of view this as somebody who's has a bit of a childish view about resources such as money maybe. This is in the reverse situation. It's kind of talking more about lack of progress or planning, short-term focus. Childish views on resources. But because it's in a reverse situation, but not only is it in a reverse situation, this is also kind of reflecting who do you think you are. So it's saying that you're seeing yourself as you're lacking on these sides. You don't have the progress you've hoped you would have had by now, and you're just kind of see yourself and lacking a little bit in that department there. It could be, with the progress, with your management of the resources, or it could, just be that currently you're viewing yourself as lacking in a project, or regarding like the ones where you're kind of fighting the change here. Now, for the next card that we have, for this one here is the ID, and this is what is the unnamed center of my wants, needs, and desires. And for this one here, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So what that's telling me, now because it's the desires and what you're kind of wanting here, this is a luck. Basically, good luck. You're hoping for good fortune. You're hoping for kind of a turning point, for things to change for the better. Now, I'm seeing this as a Wheel of Fortune instead of, it's kind of the only way you're kind of seeing it is as luck. You don't see a tactful, or like you don't see as anything that you can do to kind of correct this. Right now you're viewing this situation as the only way for it to change is you're gonna have to get lucky. The next card that we have here, this is card number 6. For card number 6 is sublimation. How do I redirect unfulfilled desires into something useful? For this one here, you've got the Queen of Pentacle reverse. Now, the Queen of Pentacle, again, as I mentioned with the Royals, this may be reflecting to somebody who's has a little bit more maturity. Now, it's the Pentacles again, which talks about the resources. So this could be somebody who's just maybe has a more mature view on the resources, right? Now, with this one here is how do I redirect unfulfilled desires into something useful? And the Queen of Pentacle reverse could be referring to imbalance at work or family commitment. Kind of what I'm thinking is maybe you've taken on too much, that one aspect of your life is kind of feeling the strain of this. So in order to turn this into something useful is kind of be aware of this, maybe try to balance yourself out here. Because this is the royal here, I'm thinking what needs to be kind of corrected a little bit is just within yourself. It's not per se a situation, or it's not like it's in order to kind of correct this, you're going to have to be yourself, a little bit more balanced. The next card that we have, now this one here was card 7, is the pleasure principle. What feels good? And for this one is we have the moon reverse. Now the moon in its normal positioning would talk about confusion. Talks about things kind of not going as it should. Now because this is in a reverse situation, what this is really saying is release of fear, of release of unhappiness, release of confusion. So yeah, what would feel good is not to dwell on this quite so much. Let that worry go a little bit. And I think that would kind of help the situation as well. Now for the last card here, we have reality principle. What must be done? Now on this one here, for that card, you've got the Queen of Cups reverse. Now again, this is a royal. You've got a lot of royals in this reading. Queen kind of reflects somebody with a view a little bit more mature, and Cups talks about emotions. Now this card here was what must be done, and this is the Queen of Cups in a reverse position, so it talks about emotional insecurities, maybe codependencies. So what it's saying is kind of what must be done, what must be kind of let go, is that emotional insecurities. Shed that out. And it kind of really goes with the moon here, right? Release the fear, let go of the emotional insecurities. Don't bottle up all of that emotion. So yeah, it seemed like this was a little bit of a heavy reading, I guess it would be. Brandy, I hope this resonated with your situation, or that it spoke to you somehow. But yeah, basically this is kind of saying there is things changing. You're struggling with that change. It's weighing heavily on your mind right now. I don't think you're viewing yourself and you're giving yourself enough credit with how you're viewing yourself. You are hoping for luck, but let go of those fears, let go of the insecurities a little bit, and just trust that things will work out.